Hi friends, Valerie Turner with Close to My Heart, and welcome to Let's Party card number 1. These cards are so fun, and I loved how I didn't have to worry about putting things straight with this card. I did it once per the workshop and then 3 other options. Let's get started. So for the first one, we are going to follow the workshop instruction exactly as it is in the workshop guide. You should already have your pieces cut and all of your thin cuts done, which will make these cards going together a breeze. I thought that my typical self didn't like putting things off straight or not center, but since I've been having these issues, my friends, with putting things straight, I actually loved this card design. So the measurements are in your workshop guide as to how to put these pieces of paper down and what your measurements will be, and they will hang over, and then you're going to trim off the excess. And look at how fun this is. I honestly would have never have thought to put these papers down like this, but I actually loved the finished project. Once you have the base pieces down there, then you're going to add this Bluebird strip here, and you're going to put it at the bottom of that confetti paper up to the top. I went and grabbed my little all-purpose mat there to add in. I love using that for adhesive so I don't get adhesive everywhere. So I brought that in, so we'll have it here for the future cards. And of course our stamp chamois for cleaning up our stamp. Now we are ready to start building our sentiment piece. Here we're going to layer those pieces, the candy apple red and the white daisy, and then you're going to put down the words, the letters for happy that we thin cut out. I suggest starting with the H and the Y and then filling in the center. It's easier to get them spaced out correctly. Then we're going to add some adhesive to our birthday. I like to use the Tombow adhesive, but liquid adhesive works great too, and I think I did that on some of the other cards. Then I brought in one of my pens here, and we're just going to add a little bit of black. You don't have to trace everything, just a little bit there to add a little bit of color and design to the word birthday with our black journaling pen. Place this piece down using my rub and remove eraser to remove some of the excess adhesive, adding in the gems, and look at how fun this is. Card number 1 is done the first way. Now for card number 1, the second way, I thought that it would be fun to bring in our candy apple shimmer trim. If you have not used shimmer trim, you need to check it out on my website. Shimmer trim is like glitter ribbon that has an adhesive back on it, and it is so fun to use to add just the right amount of shimmer and bling to your cards. So I'm completing card number 1 the second way, just the same as I did the first. The only difference is I added in that candy apple shimmer trim, and look at how fun that is. Such a great addition to this card with a little extra bling. Here I'm using the liquid adhesive on the word birthday, adding some foam tape to the back of our sediments. I used my rub and remove eraser to clean up any extra adhesive, going to stamp our words at the bottom and add in our bling. Now for another way of doing card number 1, I thought that I would add some liquid glass to the letters. Now you notice I got really thick on that H there. It came out a little bit too thick, and it did end up cracking it after a bit. So don't put quite as much as I did there. But when you add the liquid glass, make sure your pieces aren't stuck to your paper, and then we're going to set this aside to dry to use on another card after a bit. When you're done using your liquid glass, tap it down and clean off your tip so that it doesn't seal it shut. Now for card number 1, the third way, I thought that I would just get a little funky with these papers, and I'm sorry I'm slightly off camera there, but what I ended up doing was just laying them down in a really funky pattern, and I actually, again, loved this. I have to tell you, my friends, I have always been a person who loved my paper straight, and it was always really hard for me to not put them straight. And since I've been having these issues lately, you've probably been hearing me say video after video that I'm really struggling to put things straight. So along with that, I'm just really embracing the fact of putting things crooked. I never would have thought that, but I just have to go with it, and honestly, I'm loving it. So here, that's exactly what I did. I just embraced the crookedness of these pieces, and you see I added in just a little bit of shimmer trim there on the sides. I tucked it under. I snuck under 2 little pieces, and here I'm deciding where to put the birthday and the happy. I didn't really use the negative space right there that spelled out happy. I was just using it as a spacer, so I knew how much room I needed to put my letters down. Now I'm going to go ahead and add in my letters happy, and you'll notice that somewhere along the line I misplaced one of my A's, so I just left a space so I can recut and add it in. And then I added a little more funkiness to this card by putting some doodling around the edges with my black journaling pen. Lastly, for this card, I colored some of our gems with the alcohol marker and added them to the card for another added touch. Now for card number 1, the fourth way, let's not forget about the liquid glass happy that we did earlier, right? So here I am going to create this card just the same way as the workshop instruction, except for I'm going to use the candy apple shimmer trim again, and I'm going to add in the words happy with the liquid glass, right? Here you might see that because I had gotten so much liquid glass on the H that it curled the paper a little bit and actually cracked it when I tried to glue it down. You can prevent this from cracking by not putting the liquid glass so thick on the letter. This time I stamped in the candy apple red and added our gems to finish this card up. I hope that you have enjoyed card number 1, 4 ways. Watch for the Let's Party card number 2, 3, and 4 coming soon. Be sure to check out my website and follow me in my Facebook group.